Okay, concerning what you spoke about, though I'm not talking about how to make the money, like that's not my question for now. I just wanted to ask, like, eventually, when someone have the access to the money, like when someone have the access to money and all, how do you personally stay grounded so that the money does not change who you are? But how do I personally stay grounded so that the money that I have will not change who I am to other people?
Can I go ahead? Praise.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So now remember that when I started the session, there was something I said, which is that financial empowerment does not start with what you have. It starts with who you are. And I'm saying this because my own idea of financial empowerment is one that first deals with you as a person, so that as a person you are grounded enough, your beliefs are firm enough, you'll be able to build strong values, so that eventually you will not, the money, like you'll be so grounded that when the money comes, it doesn't shift you, it doesn't even have the capacity to shift you, right? And many times to process actually helps us, right? Process, the fact that when I say process, what I'm trying to say is that because I've seen how much, let me use myself as an example, right? When I look at how much I've grown over the years, right? When I look at when I started from in 2021, growing gradually, my finances growing gradually. When I look at how people help me, when I look at how I learned from people, oh, I spent a lot of money learning from different coaches. I have different persons who taught me at different point in time, and at every single point too, I have different people that gave me opportunities, that gave me all of these things were building me as a person. So that is why it's easy for me now that as I was growing, I could empty my savings to organize impact projects for young persons, to empower young persons. Because for me, I have, well, at the end of the day, this thing is like a work in progress anyway. You can never be fully built. Your mind can never be fully built to a point where you will not need to continue building your mind again. I don't know if you get it. But then because of the way I grew, it's easy for me now to not be easily shifted, right? Easily moved, easily derailed by money, right? Because I have worked so hard to make the money, and I've seen how people at one point or the other contribute to the kind of person I am now. So the whole idea of financial empowerment is very holistic, at least from my perspective. I believe that you are not financially empowered, right? Sorry, empowered. I believe that you are not financially empowered until first your beliefs are grounded, your values are built. Because if you as a person, your being as a person, if you are well built, if your mind has been well formed, this thing you are complaining about is not going to happen. It is going to be difficult. It's going to take a high level of influence or negligence to become so distracted and so derailed that money will now change the kind of person you are, right? Money can change the quality of person you are, your quality of life. I mean, when you start making money, of course it should reflect in your quality of life, which means now you start dressing better, which means now you could now, maybe you are not able to afford comfort, right? Now you're able to spend on yourself. But then it should not change your values. If you make money and then your values now shift, that means that your values were never solid in the first place. And usually the people that are affected by this are people that are exposed to money as a commodity before first about who they are. I don't know if you are getting what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say in essence is that the people that money easily derail, right, are the people that see financial empowerment as first about what they are than who they are. One thing that I so much appreciate about myself is how I still it has never really occurred to me. I've never related with people based on the amount of money I have. Like, I've never allowed the money I have, or like the amount I'm earning, or the opportunities I have, in a way, I've never allowed it impact the way I relate to people. That maybe I now see people that do not have as much money as I have, in quotes, and I now start feeling like, who are you talking to? Do you know who you are talking to? Do you know? To me, it doesn't. It doesn't even make sense. I think another contributing factor would be Jesus in my life, right? Will be the fact that I am sold out to Jesus. I've given my life to Christ, and so it is. My life is my life. I realize and I've known quite early, even before the money came. I've known right from when I was 13, right, when I was 14, that my life is not my own, right. I know I've given my life to Christ, and so it's easy for my life now. Every other thing I have now to is it for me to live my life from that lens, right? I believe so much that this is a contributing factor, but I also believe that as a person, right, as a person, whether you accept, like, whether you are a Christian or not, right, as a person, if you are able to work on yourself first before working to gather the money and all of that, is going to eventually impact how you relate with people, right? It's going eventually, when you look at people that relate to people based on how much they have, the issue is not the money, to be honest, right? I think this summarizes everything I want to say, because our time is gone. When you look at people that relate with you based on what they have, maybe like they get money, they get small money, and then they now detach themselves, they now stop relating with you, they now feel like they are too big or something like that. When you look at that, the issue is not the money. The issue is that the money provoked who they've always been. I think this summarizes it. A good person is a good person regardless of the money the person have. A bad person is a bad person regardless of the amount of money the person has. If you see that a good person suddenly become bad because the person have money, then the person was never really good at all. The person money only amplifies who you are or who you've always been. If you're a kind person, when you get money, money will just be a tool for you to continue your kindness. If you are a terrible person, right? If you're a terrible person, when you have money, it will only amplify your bad behavior, all right, your evil behavior. I think money is just an amplifier. It will impact your life as a person, except you are just that person. I don't know if I answered the question.
Okay, I believe the question has been done severe justice. The funny thing is that I was planning to add